I've realized that I'm scared of starting to do what I have to do. Whenever I know it's about time, I do that school project, or hit the gym, or talk to that certain person about that certain sensitive topic. A sense of dread takes over my body. I feel scared. The fear is beginning to overwhelm me. I have to do something. So I open Instagram Reels and start scrolling so that I can clear my head and calm my anxiety. I don't notice it in the moment, but I'm turning my brain off and escaping reality, escaping responsibilities. Why? Because I don't know how to solve my problems. Not only that, but I also am incredibly demotivated to work on any of them. They all seem either uninteresting, mundane, or requiring too much hard work and time. My TikTok mind cannot be bothered to do anything that doesn't have an immediate reward. So I spend my days wasting my time, consuming content like an addict until the day all my problems collapse over me, and I have to pay the price for procrastination. A price paid in tears, depression, suicidal thoughts. For some people, even hunger and eternal rest. It is at this moment that we regret not doing what we had to do when we had the time. We wish we could turn back time to a period where we could have made the difference. Unfortunately for us, our wish is granted. With one condition: you will go back in time and fix your problems, but you will not remember anything of this as real. You'll believe, oh, I was just imagining what would happen if I'd never taken care of my duties, how I would have ended up, but that was all just me assessing the way these events would inevitably have unfolded. Now that I'm back in time, I will make the best out of the situation. This is a mental exercise that I like to do sometimes, particularly when there's something I must do, which will decide whether I become homeless or a millionaire, but I'm just feeling too tired to do it. Or I'm just so comfortable in my bed. Just one more YouTube short before I get to work. One more TikTok, one more reel, one more. In the end, the thing that always makes me get up and get it done is realizing that if I don't do it, I won't make money. If I don't make money, I won't be able to buy food. If I can't buy food, I'll starve. If I do that too much, I die. Fear of death inevitably makes me shoot up and snap out of it. Getting to the most basic principle is what reminds me that I look miserable just sitting there waiting for something incredible to happen. It makes me realize that if I could meet that version of myself, I would grab it by its arms and shake it as I yell, "Be better!" Inaction equals death. I heard someone say the other day, I just finished watching the movie Society of the Snow. And the thing that surprised me the most was the unbreakable will to live of these people. I mean, if that had been me, I would have given up the first day. My life is not worth going through so much hardship for that much time. And frankly, I had that same mentality. After seeing what they had to endure, it was inevitable to ask myself, if that had been me, would I have resisted as much as they did? Not only physically, but mentally? Would I have had the will to keep fighting to save my life? Or would I have surrendered to the elements and alleviate the pain once and for all? Feeling demotivated, empty, or overwhelmed by stress is a natural course of life. It happens to us all. Our body strives to achieve the most pleasurable state possible. It rewards us with dopamine for it, and it punishes us with cortisol for the opposite. It's almost a paradox. Our body wants us to always be calm, but if all we are is still, we die. And dying is what the body tries to avoid at all costs. It is what beings as advanced as humans have in common with even the most insignificant microorganism that first emerged millions of years ago. The will to live. Losing the will to live is natural. Therefore, it must also be natural to get it back. And the best part is that there are numerous ways to achieve it. I used to go to a university where I felt very stressed, overwhelmed, and lost. The typical crisis that we all inevitably get at college. The tasks I had to do and the things I had to deal with were difficult. And the truth is, I didn't see the point of it all. That's why every time I started working on a project, I would stress out to the limit. I would spend a lot of energy solving it, and by the time I was finished, I was empty. That feeling of void was not pleasant at all. In fact, I had a very strong desire to fill that emptiness. And one day, after finishing a very difficult task that my dad had helped me with, I don't know why I felt a strong urge to give him a hug. And for that moment, I felt an infinite relief. I was being filled with energy once again. It was amazing. I had never felt such a powerful and pleasant emotion before. So naturally, I started hugging my dad more. And each time, the feeling was exactly the same. Each time, it would fill me with motivation. Eventually, I realized that even though hugging him was a powerful motivator, it was also my responsibility to get rid of depression by myself, because it isn't healthy to have to rely on other people for your mental health. Still, it's reassuring to know that if I ever were to need it, my dad would be there to give me a hug. Physical fitness, pressure, the stress we put on the body, it's painful at first, but believe me, when you make it to the end of a workout session, you'll always believe it was worth it. Sometimes when I get lost in the infinite reels of Instagram, it dawns on me that, what would look cooler? Me watching reels or me doing push-ups, and if I want to, watching reels? Obviously push-ups. So I get down on the floor and do as many as I can in one go. Trust me, you always feel relieved that you were able to do those 30 push-ups. You feel proud. I've realized that our mind rewards us for solving problems, no matter how small they are. As long as there's a goal and you have to work to get to it, that qualifies as a problem for our mind. So when I feel I'm getting depressed, I immediately drop and do as many push-ups as I can. They don't have to be 30, in fact, they can be a lot more. But the goal is for you to do as many reps as you can, until the last drop of energy. Thus, you're tricking your brain. You're telling it, look, I just solved one more problem, so we have one less reason to be depressed. Yay! So, in my life, there have been two men who have changed the way I see the world and helped shape my personality. One of them is Matías de Stefano, the indigo child of past lives, Atlantis, and spirituality in general. And the other has been Emery Andrew Tate III. To many people, he seems controversial and little else, but some of us have found his message exceptionally powerful and very helpful. Listening to his words sometimes gives me fireblood. It makes me ultra motivated to conquer the world. It makes me feel like I can do anything. That is the mentality of success, which leads you to do what you have to do and stop making excuses. For me, personally, it is very useful, because my personality tends to be rather passive, relaxed, and calm. I rarely get to tap into that intense state of hyperactivity. It was thanks to that state that I started martial arts, and that I have modified the way I perceive stress. It is very useful when you want to succeed. So every now and then I listen to a podcast or an interview with him or his brother, in the hope that some of his energy will rub off on me. When stress is no longer helpful and you need to return to a state of calm and tranquility, my favorite exercise is breathing. Adopt an aligned, upright posture. Close your mouth and breathe deeply through your nose only. Inhale for as much time as you can, and exhale the same way. If you feel an urge to yawn, suppress it, don't do it, and instead breathe out through your nose. I still don't know why, but this type of breathing is a technique that always works for me. I end up transmuting stress into calm, disintegrating it completely. And lastly, a recently acquired method is the feedback from people on the channel, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, whether they are in Spanish or in English. Every time I see them, they are a most welcome and satisfying surprise. For me, it is a pleasure to know that my words or actions have made you think or entertained you. So, thank you, guys, for all of the support. And nothing else. Remember, these methods are not unique to me. You can develop them as well. I have arrived to them starting from the basic principles, going to the origin of the problem, which is, if you don't do what you have to do, it will eventually lead to death. So, decide, do you want to die?